Isn't 2017 a great year for society and culture and art? It's really, like, I go online, I go on Twitter, and I see all of those things, and it just makes me happy that I have the privilege to live in a year where our society, our modern society is just so good. I don't know how else to describe it. I think you've already heard from that one instance where that video game journalist, who apparently has been doing it for like 20 or 30 years, where he was supposed to play Cuphead, and he was like totally stuck in the tutorial even, and it took him like more than 2 minutes to figure out how to do a certain jump, even though it was clearly said how to do it in the tutorial, and it wasn't actually that hard as well. And I'm not even kidding, the jump isn't really hard. I mean, it's the tutorial, the game itself, okay, it's difficult, and I can understand why people that don't usually play platformers, I can see why those people have problems with it, but in that tutorial you're supposed to do a jump from a box and then make a dash, so that you can get over another obstacle. It's super easy. It's super easy. Basically everyone should be able to understand what they're supposed to do. But that video game journalist that apparently has been playing games for a living for like 30 years or whatever, he couldn't do it. Like, he couldn't do it at all. There was also one comparison where they would put his gameplay of him doing the tutorial, they would put that on one side, and then on the other side they would they would put a pigeon intelligence test, and it would actually turn out it took him longer to figure out how to do that jump than for a pigeon to do the intelligence test. Yeah, check this out. Dean's shameful Cuphead demo versus pigeon intelligence test. So on the one side, you have him doing the tutorial, or at least trying to make it through the tutorial, and on the other side, you have a pigeon that needs the box to get to, I don't know, whatever this is, some kind of food or whatever. He needs to push the box under the food so that he can reach the food. And as it turns out, like, and even the game reviewer, he even started with an advantage, because the pigeon intelligence test video started like a few seconds later. So he was already at an advantage, but he just couldn't do it. And that's it. And he still hasn't figured it out even. What the hell? So, yeah, as you can clearly see, not all video game journalists are reputable, and I think that has also recently shown in some articles. And this is really what I want to talk about mainly. I personally, I'm not really a fan of political correctness. I think it kind of gets in our way of free speech, and I'm a fan of free speech. But I mean, I definitely see why people would be a fan of political correctness. I personally don't like it, but whatever you think of political correctness, there are just some cases where it really doesn't matter. Like, no one cares. Take this one for example. Orc slavery made me quit Middle-earth Shadow of War. What? When is my rest? He begged. I pulled him close to me, dominated his weakened mind, put him in my orc stable, and immediately shut down the game. And this is a real article. Like, this is no parody. This is no bullshit. Like, this is an actual article on Vice Motherboard. He actually means that shit. He's actually for real. I mean, let's ignore the fact that, you know, whatever happens in the game is like totally fantasy, and orc slavery not in the slightest is in any way condoning actual slavery. And let's ignore the fact that, well, orcs simply don't exist. Like, if you really quit a game based on that, you're not allowed to write such articles. Like, how... Like, I can't believe this is real. I can't believe that this is an actual article by someone. What was his name? Matthew Gault. Might want to turn down the trigger levels a little bit. But yeah, quitting a game because of orc slavery If you really think that Shadow of War is representing actual slavery, then you must also boycott Super Mario, because in Super Mario, Mario jumps on Goombas and by that completely wipes them out of existence. And I mean, that could be symbolism for murder, right? I mean, that's murder. So we can't play Super Mario. Like we need to boycott the game. Like I can't have that. Can't do that. So yeah, of course, total bullshit, total... I don't even know. But that's not even everything. I have one more article that is very spicy. This one is from Polygon. The darker the skin, the harder the game. How South Park pretended to care about race. Now, if you don't know, in South Park, the Fractured But Whole, there is, you can actually customize your own South Park character, which is really cool, really cool. And you can also adjust your skin tone on a slider, and on the wider scale, like when the skin tones get a little bit wider and brighter, it says easy above it, and the darker they get, it just says very difficult or whatever. And if you know South Park, which I guess you do, this is clearly a joke. This is clearly a reference to something that, you know, maybe even applies to the real world, but it's just packed into a joke. So essentially it's comedic commentary about things that happen in the real world. You get it, right? You know exactly what it is. But then at the end of this article he wrote, never mind, it was all just a cheap joke. Rather than introduce a conversation regarding discrimination, racism and stereotyping, South Park The Fractured But Whole uses the discrimination blacks and people of color face every day for a quick laugh in the character creation screen. Yes, because both South Park and video games are always and have always been a perfect platform for social commentary and conversations. Yes! I mean, could you imagine, like, when you adjust the slider and the joke is being made, you just hear Cartman rambling like 2 minutes or whatever about how this is a joke and how, like actual commentary, like this comes from a guy who clearly has never watched South Park and who clearly also has a problem with jokes that affect himself. If you can't laugh about stuff like that, it really makes you look very weak, in my opinion. Now, I don't want to say that the problem doesn't exist. I'm sure it does. I personally can't really say it because I don't really experience it, of course. So I don't want to say the problem does not exist, but all I'm saying here is that South Park is not a platform for a conversation. Neither is any game. So the thing you're asking for here is totally abysmal. The reason why we play video games, or the reason why some or most of us play video games, is to escape from that shit for at least a few moments. And I don't know about you, but I personally, like, if I have to deal with basically all the real life problems that we face about society and whatever, I wouldn't want to play video games anymore. And if the author of this article is really so passionate about this whole topic, well then why don't you go places where you would actually discuss such things? Video games are not a platform to discuss things like discrimination, especially not South Park, but if you do want to discuss those, things, there is a place and time to do so. You don't need that platform 24/7 everywhere. That's bullshit. So yeah, what did we learn today? Video game journalism and political correctness are like two couples. Like they found each other. They finally found each other after so many years, and it's more and more getting mixed together, and I hate it. Now, while I was scrolling through the articles, I have to say it. Not all articles are like this. There are still a lot of very good articles, but it's just that stuff like that happens more and more, and I don't even know. I feel like people don't really use their brain as much as they used to, and people get triggered by everything and try to push their own political agendas into every single thing, let it be art or whatever, video games, movies, music, whatever. Everyone is constantly trying to shove their own stupid agenda into every single thing, and this really annoys the heck out of me. But hey, that's the year we live in right now, right? 2017. Amazing year for jokes and for art and all good stuff. Good. Good shit. Alright, but that's it for today. Yeah, this was more of a different video. If you like those kind of videos, then tell me down in the description below. If you don't like those videos, then kill yourself. I'm just kidding, but yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.